back to MyView TV, the people's platform, the home of undiluted news, reviews, updates, and your daily dose of entertainment. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, leave us a comment, like, share, and subscribe.
I don't bring nobody forward in your cheer for me. Everything what you see up my natural talent. Let me tell you something. You see, when you know what to please the audience with, it's simple.
Wagwan, my people. Hope everybody okay. Hope everybody alright. So I have a word for somebody. You are worthy of new beginnings. You don't have to stay in places that you have outgrown. If it feels forced, free it. Yes, can't say me never tell you that. And you can share to the neighbor too. Because maybe, just maybe, the neighbor need to hear this one. The St. Catherine North Investigation Branch are seeking the public assistance in locating a witness who's vital to a current case before the court. The witness is Delroy Britton. Yes, Delroy. The police them look for you. You understand? You need to find yourself at the police station. Whose last known address is Elton Park, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. He is scheduled to appear before the St. Catherine Parish Court on Wednesday, July 6th. Delroy Britton or anyone knowing his whereabouts is being asked to contact the Spanish Town CIB at 876-984-3165. Police 119 emergency number. Or visit the nearest police station. You understand? Delroy, just do the right thing, no man. Then again, maybe, just maybe, Delroy is not alive. So that's why I'm not turning up. Anyway, people, 5 children are amongst 13 now, homeless following a fire along Perry Street in Montego Bay Friday evening. Let me answer that question before you type it in the comment section or waste space. I want big yard. Yes, I want big yard burn up. Report that a 2-story building that housed a number of different tenants went up in flames, sending whole heap of smoke over a section of Montego Bay. Residents who were present managed to save a few of their belongings despite the whole heap of smoke and whole heap of fire. There was no report of any injuries. To God be the glory. Nobody never dead. You understand? Nobody died in the fire. So we have to give God thanks for that. Anyway, people, what thing I go under the news? Hold on now. Draw closer to the phone or to the TV if you hear this one here. Court here, stepdad takes picture of children's private. May I always tell you this? What the type of people who bring on the kids? You understand? Watch them. A 40-year-old man who is accused of taking pictures of his daughter's vagina and giving her $3,000 not to tell her mother made his first appearance in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court yesterday. So hold on. Him going to make one appearance of my cemetery. Up at the cemetery, this boy should have go. People. Like serious? Like serious? Why this boy live? Fiaga court. The man who is of a Chilani address is charged with indecent assault and sexual grooming. He has not yet entered a plea. He must enter a plea. Have fun for fun off him head. Let him out. Let him out. Yes, man, that boy need to get bail right now. Let him out. Tell him name, let him out. I make we angle him bangle for him. Fix him business. Good too. The allegations are that on May 9th at about 9:13 p.m., he unzipped her pants and took a picture of her vagina using his phone. It is alleged that he told her to keep it a secret. On another occasion, he gave her $3,000 and repeat the same request. The complainant, listen to this good now, people. The complainant, who is a grade 9 student, yes, grade 9, not grade 7, not grade 6, not grade 5. Grade 9 student was promised that she would get more money and was told not to tell her mother about the pictures or money. However, the complainant mother was made aware of the photograph and the police were also informed. The man's phone was later checked and the photograph was seen. But hold on a bit then now. All this mother you have phone, you know. Mother you have a cutlass in her yard. Mother you have a cutlass. You shall fun off the boy head. When he was cautioned, he said, me never mean nothing. Me take the picture, but me just ask if she can keep it a secret. And I like me try get close to her or anything. You know, say this a boy have to get dash with people. This a boy. Mother, if you could do it, you know, no relative could angle him bangle for him. Like, serious? No relative you have could help people. And not even want to tell you no more. You understand? Because if you don't think so, want to just hear upset, you know. Just hear this a little part here. The man was offered $200,000 bail with at least 2 surety. He was ordered to report to the police twice a week and must surrender travel documents. All of that makes sense? Yeah, send him go do it somewhere else. That is when I do. But I fuck me down at the court so I can just go in some more news here. A Hanover car parts dealer who is wanted in the United States in connection with lottery scamming was remanded on Wednesday when he appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. Ulrich Grant, who is also charged with the 2018 murder of Damian Gordon in Bailey'sville, St. Mary, is wanted in the United States for wire fraud and identity theft. It is alleged that he scammed a number of United States citizens out of hundreds of thousands of US dollars after convincing them that they won the lottery and need to send cash to receive their prizes. But I tell you something. Me tell you this. Some of them people that would scam, them are idiot. Said what I said and I mean what I said. And I not take it back. Senior Deputy Director of Prosecution, Jeremy Taylor, on Wednesday asked for the matter to be put off to another day so that he could have further consultation in respect of Mr. Grant's murder charge. On June 29, mentioned date was set. Anyway, people, as soon as that day they come, me I go keep on a posted panda one. Hold on the now. One chuck, him and him friend them need for galang and them yard go sit down in them rocking chair. But people need to go sit down and have discussion with criminal. No. The only discussion supposed to involve the government and criminal. And when the government are going to tell them people, them say, yo, pay for them bullet where police full up in them. That is the only discussion. No other discussion. Hold on then now, we can talk to one police. Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of Area 1 Clifford Chambers discusses the nuisance of the anti-gang strategy in Western Jamaica. Chambers said there's no room, and listen me good, no room in the JCF strategy to negotiate with criminal and wanted persons. As the people them on this platform say, leave that to politicians and them friend them. Well, half of them need to get slap way. He noted that there is existing a wide range of social intervention to address the interpersonal conflicts in community. We not even want to address nothing. We just need to slap way. Half of them. I'm a tough flock. Clifford, come talk to you people them now.
All right, the targeting of gang criminal organization, as we rightly call them, is multifaceted. And it depends on whether the gangs are going up against another gangs or whether the gangs are going up against their own gang members, where you have intra-gang rivalry, as we are having now with regards to two of the major gangs in Montego Bay. But let me just put things in context just for a little. As it is right now, there are over 21 active gangs operating in Montego Bay. Each of the policing district have active gangs, meaning gangs that are contributing to violence, gangs that have their gangsters who are wanted, gangs which are going up against each other, and intra-gang rivalry among two major gangs, as mentioned. With regards to the anti-gang strategy that we are using at this stage, we are holding the turf, the location, the space that these gangs operate in, number one. We are conducting multiple road policing on the routes that they travel. We are doing targeted raids, targeted operation. We are also focusing on them from an investigative standpoint by way of the anti-gang legislation, and we're building cases against them as it is. We're also working with other stakeholders as it relates to targeting some of the major operatives who are not only involved in criminal activities, but are also engaged in lottery scamming. And this is what makes the process a little bit complicated. So you initially have scammers, then you have scammers who were then being extorted by gangsters. Then you have scammers who try to put themselves in a position to defend themselves. Then you find scammers who eventually get persons to provide protection for them who are other hardened criminals. But now we have it a little bit more complicated, where gangsters themselves are now involved in lottery scamming. So that within itself brings a whole level of complexity in how we manage them, because they have to be managed on several fronts, where you go after their assets, we go after them in terms of offenses which are committed not necessarily as a part of the gang. You call those simpliciter, where they're shooting and other criminal offense, and then we go for them in tandem with the anti-gang legislation and what it allows us to do. So it's multifaceted, and we continue to get some success where those are concerned. So the work it continues, and we'll continue to use whatever intelligence, investigation, and information that we have in targeting them in a meaningful way.
ACP, one of the challenges that we often see is that there is gang violence that we look at directly as gang violence, but then gangsters become involved in interpersonal conflicts in their families and their communities amongst each other, amongst their friends, etc. And so you deal with interpersonal differences, but you're also looking at interpersonal differences among gangsters who have weapons to settle interpersonal conflicts
Right.
differently than regular people. So how do you mediate interpersonal conflicts among gangsters?
It's very difficult. Gangsters only, oftentimes they do not allow mediation. Let's make that clear. And outside of mediation, they do not even formally report a crime when it has been committed, because there's a code that if you do report, then you flip as a gangster, and then the gangster community will look on you differently. So that's one thing. As it relates to mediation, though, our community safety and security branch, irrespective of who is killed, their responsibility is to go in, to mediate, to speak to the people, the community, those who are directly responsible, impacted, and to see how investigators can get a way to really impact the offense which has been committed, but also see how best they can negate the reprisal of the crime. It's hard to measure the impact of that, but suffice it to say that every murder that has been committed, there is an effort at mediation on one hand, and there is an intervention by our safety security. Every single murder. Oftentimes, it will take more than one visit. It depends on the complexity of the situation, and you oftentimes see them going back to the location, going back to other persons, other relatives who are involved several times. And we oftentimes see gangsters committing or cause crimes to be committed outside of the realm of gang. So it's committed by a gangster, and you may know where it's coming from. But the crime itself is not related to a gang conflict or an intra-gang conflict. For example, a couple of days ago, we had a double murder in the Norwood space. Now, the person who was killed was intimately involved with a gangster. Actually, she was pregnant for him. What happened subsequent to that is that he was arrested, charged, now in custody for over a year. Information got out that his girlfriend is now involved with another man, and she's now 4 months pregnant. And the information that we're working with is that upsets him, and then he gave certain directions. So that by itself, for example, is not a gang-on-gang or an intra-gang, but you were seeing that it is committed because of the directions coming from a gangster, and so that have to be policed again. So again, dealing with gangs is not easy. Dealing with gangs, they have to deal with it on many fronts: operation, investigation, and the intervention. But the processes are, the best process is how do you get to them to the point where they will sit down, they'll listen, and they'll conform to what you're telling them, which is not one of the easiest tasks, but the work continues.
When we as a constabulary then are trying to intervene in matters, if you're dealing with someone who is formally wanted for a crime, they are a known violence producer who we are building a case on, is it our practice to negotiate and mediate with those kinds of people? Is there room for that in our strategy at all?
There's no room for negotiation in our strategy. A person who is wanted because he commits a crime. If he commits a crime, then to be wanted, case would have been properly investigated and a file is ready and waiting for him to be put before the court. Oftentimes when he's wanted, there's even no need to question him, or no need to talk to him. You just execute a warrant. If a warrant of arrest is on file, if no warrant of arrest is on file, you just simply arrest the person and put him before the court. He has his rights to an attorney. He depends on the level of investigation. There might be need for an interrogation, whether it be done in a formal statement form or question and answer. But strictly speaking, there's no negotiation, and there's no room for that. And when it comes on to a person who committing a crime, our role is just to investigate and make the law take its course.
I want to tackle an issue about where we are in Area 1, not just St. James, because
Right.
Trelawney has its challenges,
Yes.
Westmoreland has its challenges, Hanover is not doing so bad.
Right.
But when we look at where Era 1 has been and where it is now, how would you respond to this narrative of violence or crime being out of control?
Simply put, crime in Era 1 is not spiraling out of control. In recent years, we have had several operational tactics which have done us well. In recent times, we are now down to just the zone of special operation, which is doing us well. The areas in which the zones are, we have little or no crime at all, and so we are grateful for that. Outside of that, when compared to last year, we are seeing an increase. Generally speaking, major crime is just up by 24 over last year, 24. Murder is a little bit more, but you have to understand the issue with murders. The issue with murder is that the largest scamming phenomenon is impacting it. The gang on gang is impacting it. The intra-gang conflict is impacting it. And the difficulty with intra-gang conflict is that when I have a group of persons operating, living, moving as one, and then they split, they know everything about each other. The back roads, the side road, the interval, where police don't even know. And so they would know how to attack if necessary, commit arson if necessary, and so on. So these are the complexity in dealing with the gangs themselves. But back to the main question, the numbers speaks for themselves. When you look at the first quarter of this year, we had on or about 130 murders and shooting. For the second April and May, we had murders and shooting, but they are being committed at a slower rate and our pace than the previous months. So we are seeing a slowing down of major crimes in Era 1 that led us to now just be 24 above where we were last year. And that is directly relating to the continuous effort and targeting by police. So we have changed the strategy, we have become more robust and more effective on the road, and the evidence is there. We have recovered far more firearms this year than we have ever recovered at this time of the year before. More ammunition have been recovered as well. More arrests have been made. More convictions are now being obtained through the courts. So we're seeing that what we're doing now is working. What we're doing now is closing the gap as it relates to crimes that were committed a month or 2 months ago to those which were committed since January, February, and March. And we'll continue to do that because we're seeing the effort. And we're anticipating a slight shift in the modality in which we do policing, which I'm confident will give us even better results going forward.
I know that one of the things that we've tried to do is increase operational support.
Yes.
We're seeing 60 members of OST being trained, a very elite tactical group. We're seeing more support coming from the QR team.
Right.
How important is that kind of a push in Era 1 in terms of to the manner in which you police?
Right. It's very important. What we find out is that the criminals in Era 1, they are mobile. And when I say mobile, sometimes it's hard to somehow context them in a certain type of vehicle. They drive BMW, they drive Benz, they drive Crown, they drive XY. And so the speed at which they can move from one point to another can be fast. So the quick response team give you that agility in moving around to somehow cauterize the ease at which they can move and will move. The other thing is that the tactical training that is now being provided to our operatives is critical. We're seeing criminals moving around with high-powered weapons. We're seeing criminals displaying their tactic in what is only left for us to be convinced that they are trained by experts. We're seeing certain groupings where bullet impressions are formed that these persons are not just any ordinary criminals. And so exposing our persons to this higher level of tactical training will only better prepare them to take on the challenge that we have in Era 1.